Course in Miracles number 130 and talking again about choosing again. Again. So I am going with that title. Wanted to share a couple more notes. We've been talking about the Holy Spirit and what it does for you compared to the ego, compared to a couple, probably episodes back about holding grievances, what those kind of things do to pull you back into the ways of the world. So I'm going to give you an example here on, maybe how you apply it. And sometimes there's not like a strategery to applying it. It just happens. So the other night I was doing basketball practice, and the practices at spring basketball, they're trying, kids for the most part want to be there, I think, but it's hard with maybe starting their other sports. If they're doing other sports, we've been playing basketball for a long time. So to keep the focus, not always there. So, the last time we had a tournament, I was very annoyed with them. Practices, sometimes annoyed. I'm like, I got to come up with a new plan to get them going. And thankfully in the school that we have they have a marker board, and I wrote the word success on it. And then I had 7 players there that night. I draw little lines from it. And I said, okay, what would make the spring season a success for you? First player went up there, took the marker, wrote effort. I'm like, okay, that sounds like something the coach would want you to do. Is this what you want to write up there? And that player wrote that. The next player wrote attitude. Again, that seemed like something that the coach has been telling them to do. So they're just picking answers that sound good, kind of like the church-going people pick answers that sound good, like, I will believe in Jesus, I will follow God. And then they go out there and don't do it. And again, I've admitted in other videos that I'm not perfect at this. That's not why I'm sharing. Anyway, I don't want to give the whole list, but then somebody put practice, I think extra work outside of practice, which, that's what you should be doing if you want to get good at the sport. And then somebody wrote positivity, and positivity, I'm like, well, that's kind of like attitude, but that's good. You're coming up with a word. And then anyway, once we had the 7 words up there, I told the players, all right, we're going to work on leadership. So you are in charge of being the team leader in the word you wrote up there. And that wasn't even my plan going into this. I was just based on the answers and based on I want more leadership from the team, I'm going to put them in charge of their word. So during practice, they have to do their very best to hold their self and other players accountable to their word. And we weren't going to do it in a negative way. We were going to do it in a positive way. And somebody also wrote mentality. So I had 3 attitude words. I had communication, which is more like talking on the court. You need to talk when you're playing in basketball. But interesting. All those words were interesting because they're all words that the coach has been telling him to do. So the word has gotten in there. It's just now putting yourself in doing the word, right? And isn't that true in spiritual things? The word is in there. You've heard the word of whatever the word should be, but to actually go out and do the word, hit or miss, right? Then to be a leader of having other people do the word, it's like, oh my God, that is too much and I don't want to do it. But I thought the boys did good with that. So in, say, modern day church terminology, you would need to disciple to the word. So you've got a word. Maybe in the Course in Miracles sense, you've got a function and you're to bring it to the world. And right now you're like, nobody's really asking me to do it. I'll just sit back and not do it right. So I thought that was a interesting application of, me trying to come up with a mindset for the players, but now what do we do in the world? We talked about the ego seeks to divide and separate last video. And the Holy Spirit seeks to unify and heal. And I have a note here that Christ wants us to share his mind with us. He wants us to share his mind because we are of one mind. But ego versus Holy Spirit, we talked about this before, would be split mind or double-minded. So it's very hard to function when we're double-minded, pulled to one area, but really want to unify and heal. But nope, we're separating and dividing. Very, very tough. Christ just calls us to be in one mind. Christ calls us then to accept your part in helping the world, the salvation of the world, letting people know how to be healed, how to be unified. You might be like, no, I'm just watching your videos, Chuck. I don't want to do this. Well, guess what? You have a word. What that word is, you're in charge of the word, and you can now help other people be good at the word. And that is possible because God created us in understanding. This is another note. God created us in understanding, appreciation, and love. He didn't just create you, didn't just create me in understanding, appreciation, and love. He had created all his children that way. So they just forgot. Most of us have forgot. And time to time, we too forget. I forget. You forget. And that's why I'm saying choosing again. You just need to choose again. Like, oh, yeah, no, I don't want to divide and separate. I want to unify and heal. So what words could I give to others to heal, to unify, to bless, to love, to shine light, to let them see the light, to give peace? That's several of the messages. You can certainly go back and watch the messages. You're always welcome again to share these messages like I mentioned last time. And if there's a certain message you want to hear, like, okay, what I need a word from you, Chuck, to help me get out of this rut. Like, what's the word? I don't know. You could reach out to me and we could hopefully give you a word to help you. But it's really choosing again. You made a mistake. You made an error. You forgot. Now choose again. Oh, you forgot again. Choose again. And eventually the double-mindedness will be like, nah, I don't like this anymore. Let's throw that away and just do the one thing of like mind that Christ was teaching. That's why many people that are following him, like, boy, I want to be like Christ. One mind with him, choosing again.